Well, Utahns know Andrew Valdez as a juvenile court judge and a community activist.
Judge Valdez has written this memoir about a man he calls his guardian angel. It's in a book called No One Makes It Alone, and Dick Norris has the remarkable story.
Andrew Valdez has played tennis here for nearly 50 years as man and boy, lawyer and street kid, and now as a judge. Tennis has been a ticket up and out for Andrew Valdez, all because somebody who cared put a tennis racket in his hands and believed in him. As a kid, Andy Valdez sold newspapers. Back in 1960, there were still paper boys in downtown Salt Lake City. 8-year-old Andy owned this corner, Main Street and 2nd South.
I'd make 3 cents on every paper, and we'd sell them for 10 cents. So I'd sell papers for 3.5 hours and walk home with 90 cents.
Jack Keller passed by Andy every day on his way to his print shop.
I kind of confronted him. How come you never buy a paper from me? Because he was always passing me, and he had this paper in his arm.
And you were a little mouthy back then.
Well, I guess I was a little
smart kid.
Yeah, let's say I was assertive.
Yeah, there you go.
He took me to a shop half a block down the street and gave me a job.
You got you off the street selling papers and took you in to help him in the print shop.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in that print shop. I'd eat there, and sometimes I'd even sleep there at night when I needed a place to go.
Jack Keller was not a rich man, but he was a man of heart and mind. Most of all, he believed in Andy Valdez, and he believed that Andy's ticket was in tennis.
I didn't even know what tennis was. Yeah. I asked him, what's that? And he says, it's a sport with racket and balls. And I say, why? And he says, because I know how to play, and I'll teach you. With
Jack's help, he learned to play and compete. Andrew Valdez graduated from the University of Utah's law school, was a lawyer in the Army JAG Corps, a husband and father, a public defender, and now a judge. As the years passed, Andy lost track of his old and best friend.
And you tried to find him, nobody knew where he was?
I tried finding him. I went to his old house. I had assumed he had passed away.
Then one day, Judge Valdez went into a grocery store and spotted an old man. A cop was about to arrest him.
He was pretty beat up. His face had scabbing, and our eyes locked, actually. And I says, is that you, Jack? Jack Keller, is that you? And he kind of looked at me real blankly.
Was he in the early stages of the Alzheimer's then?
Yes, he had onset Alzheimer's. And so from there, I took him and cleaned him up.
It was your turn to take care of Jack.
It was my turn to take care of him. For the last years of his life, I finally put him in a rest home, and he stayed in the rest home for 4 years, and that's where he passed away.
Now, Andy Valdez remembers the best times when Jack would take him to lunch at the Jade Cafe. They'd sit quietly reading the newspaper and eating egg foo young sandwiches.
We gave each other that feeling that we mattered to somebody, and we were, you know, needed by each other in some respects.
This is quite a story. When the cameras stopped rolling, the judge told me, after I asked him what might have happened to his life or with his life, had he never asked Jack Keller to buy a newspaper. Caught him off guard for a minute. He rolled his eyes and said, you know, I don't know where I would be today. So that's definitely one of those there but for whomever go I stories. You know.
What a great story. Can I read this book?
You can read that book.
Thank you, Dick.
It's amazing you walked into that Smith store and saw Jack.
Wow.
First time you'd been in that store.
Never been in the store before. All right.
Wow. Thank
you,
you,
Dick. Dick, as you know, it's snowing outside. You came in.